Good afternoon. Now we are going to start with the next lecture, that is Aeolian landforms. So in previous lectures we were talking about Aeolian processes and what are the various process of winds or wind as a tool which is eroding the material, transporting the material and depositing the material. And aeolian landforms are when we are talking about the landforms which are carved off from the air, the wind action. Okay. Now, first of all, we will just go through a brief of what is aeolian processes, that is erosion, transportation, and deposition, then aeolian landforms, and at the end, we will summarize the chapters. Okay. So now, moving air mass is known as the wind. We know that, and produces a variety of landforms. When a moving wind is producing a variety of landforms through erosion and deposition, it cannot develop any landscape by itself, but it requires certain materials to carve these landforms. Okay, now what are these materials? Now we are going to talk about, this is a chart where wind erosion, transportation, and deposition actions. We are talking about what happens in these stages. Now the first one is erosion. What are the methods and what are the features that is going to come up? The first one is deflation. We have talked about what is deflation. It is a desert pavement or lag of deposition. Means in deflation, what happens is the air, light particles, dust particles are taken out, blown away from that region, and only hard, rough particulates are left behind. That is a deflation process. Then corrosion and abrasion. What happens is cave rocks, mushroom table, uh, pedestral rocks, yagans. These are some example of abrasion or corrosion action of a wind. What happens in corrosion action of the wind? The small particulates, they come, they collide with each other and they break into furthermore fragments, and then they also collide with the any obstruction which is coming by the wind direction. So it can be any land feature, it can be a rock, it can be a mountain, it can be any relief feature on the and obstructing the wind direction will be susceptible to corrosion. So they will these wind continuously hitting on the these obstruction will carve away sometimes into cave formation, sometimes into mushroom rocks or yagans. Okay. Now uh, then we have ventifacts. What are ventifacts? Ventifacts are when hard rocks, resistant rocks are continuously being hit and bombarded by these particles. What happens is they continuously they erode it, they smoothen it as if that something has chiseled the rock material out of it. Okay, they are ventifacts. Now, then we have in transportation, what all the transportation happens. The method of transportation is saltation, suspension, rolling, or you can call it traction or dragging. Okay, you can also call it dragging. So in erosion, we have, what are the methods we had? We had deflation methods, we had corrosion or abrasion method, and we had attrition method, which is again the material when they are colliding with each other and breaking and disintegrating in furthermore smaller particles is called attrition. In transportation stage, what happens is these small particles are either you know uh, they are either washed away from the surface, that is saltation. Suspension is when the particle is very fine and it is suspended in the air, that is the suspension. And then we have a rolling or traction, or you can also call it dragging, when the particulates they hop, they are drag along the surface, are called traction. Then in deposition action, what are the methods or causes of deposition? When the wind loses its velocity, then wherever the wind velocity is reduced, the material, the suspended material, saltated material, they start depositing in there. Okay, and start settling up. Okay, then when the material starts becoming very heavy for it being suspended in the air, So it starts again depositing then and there wherever the material is heavy for a air to carry further on. Okay, and when there is an obstruction also, these materials are seen to be, settling up. Okay, and what are the nature of depositions? In aeolian landforms, nature of depositions will be dunes, lures, and ripples. They are all similar types of, sand depositions, sediment depositions. Dunes, you must have seen, if anybody has gone to Jaisalmer, must have seen sand dunes. They are the tourist attraction there. What happens there? The sand particulates, they start depositing there, and form big, what do you call, mount hill of the sands, or the deposited sands. So they are dunes, and dunes, layers and ripples are also some examples of dunes only. Okay. Now, wind erosion, we have talked about wind erosion, that is deflation, the lifting or removal of the loose sand dust particles from the surface of the earth. Then corrosion is wearing down of the solid rock by impact of the wind, which is with other particulates in the air. Okay, then attrition, when the suspended particulates they collide with each other and disintegrate furthermore, is called attrition. Now, transportation, saltation, that is the result of the impact of elastic bounce. That is, it bounce. The things keep on bouncing from one place to another place with the movement of the wind. Suspension, when the particulates is suspended or is somewhere carried away into the air. Then rolling or traction is the movement of the particle along the surface of the ground. Okay. Now, deposition of the wind. Deposition by the winds are basically due to the obstruction we have talked about, reduction of velocity, increase of the load of the material, suspended material in the wind, and also rainfall can cause deposition of these materials. Okay. Now, aeolian landforms are formed by the erosion, deposition, and sedimentation of the material which has been eroded. The sediments are generally sourced from desert, glacier deposits, or river or coastal shorelines. Aeolian sediments are often composed of well rounded sand or silt sized particulates that are weathered by the wind abrasion during the transportation. The sediments are deposited when the velocity of the wind falls and there is not enough energy available to entertain and transport the sediments. The sand will begin to accumulate wherever they are deposited or often continue to move along the ground. Now, erosional landforms, the ventifacts, are formed by the abrasion effect. The stone that with flat surface is what ventifacts look like, commonly distinguished by two or more flat surfaces meeting at a sharp ridge. Generally, it looks like a well polished stones. Okay, so they are ventifacts. Um, Let me see. Okay, I have not shared the screen. Now, the withdrawal of face of the rock is flattened and smoothened. If it has not smooth surface, then it is known as the encanter. Encanter, either you call it, or dicanters. Encanters are, when the surface is rounded. It is a rounded surface. And dicanters are the when surfaces have sharp edges around. Okay, I will show you here. This image of a rock is an example of a ventifact. So what is happening here in this ventifact is that your small particulates are continuously eroding the this hard rock material away on from the surface, and it is having a flat surface. If you see, smooth flat shiny surface here and edges here, and wherever it is a smooth surface like this is a dicanter. Sorry, in canters where you have a smooth surface, a dicanters have a sharp edge, which it looks like that somebody has chiseled these rocks away. Okay. Now, if you come here, Yagans. How Yagans look like? This is also due to the vent action. What is happening? This landform has been eroded with continuous wind formation. So, what happens is when the wind is blowing from this end to this end, from what you call east to west in this picture, or maybe there is a hard rock material here. What happens? It makes like a funnel-like shape. So it looks like as if it is the face of a ship. Okay, but the wind is cutting through the edges. So Yagand is an elongated ridge or a remnant of rock features carved by the abrasion action, oriented as a parallel and prevailing winds. So what happens is because of the prevailing continuous prevailing winds, what happens is it cuts the edges from both the ends. It is cutting an edge from this side and on the other side of the image, if you see this. All right, so it is more like a elongated bar which is cut down with the prevailing wind which is continuously flowing in the same direction. So whenever the wind is prevailing in the same direction, this Yagan type of land features are incarved by the winds. Now, mushroom table or mushroom rock or padlock, this is how it looks like. They are isolated rocks from which the base has been particularly cut off by undercutting of the wind. So what happens is, supposingly there's a strong wind movement here at this level, from ground level to this level. What happens is, this is a continuous prevailing wind which is flowing here. It, due to the attrition action, it is corroding away the rock material, and slowly it is thinned, and only the top surface of the material is left behind, and the narrowing of the base is happening. So when the base is continuously narrowing because of the continuous strong winds which is not strong winds, prevailing winds which is blowing away, this land feature is encarved by the wind movement. That is, this is either you can call it mushroom rock or table rock, mushroom table, you can call it any way. Now, desert pavements or lag deposits. What are desert pavements and lag deposits? Are formed by wind carrying finer and more lighter weight particulates such as sand away from the main source. Then large particulates are left behind and protected from the furthermore erosion. The desert pavements also are called as desert armors. So it looks like as if the back of a turtle, hard rock surface is left behind. So have you seen the back of a turtle is a hard shelly thing which is left behind? The similar type of smooth flat rocks are what do you call it, are emplaced in that. It looks like as if you are walking over a stony rocky material. That is that what it looks like. Now also there is they are also known as desert armor. uh, the area covered with large size rocks are called hamdas. Okay, what are large size hard rock, bedrock, when it is exposed of due to the continuous blowout, what is left behind is hard rock. It is when it stretches for a very long area, it is called hamdas. Okay, now this is how it looks like, desert pavement. You see here the entire region is only left by the pebbles, the rock materials, the pebbles which is left behind. And it is an arid region. There is no river flowing, so you cannot say this is an action of a water. You can see that this is action of a wind, because they have a sharp cutting edges all around, and only bigger particulates are left, no sand or silt which is here that you can see. So hence these areas also have less vegetation also. Okay. Now, deflation basin, depression from formed from barren, unconsolidated material formed by eddy air currents. Okay, what is eddy air currents? Eddy air currents are like continuous flowing air currents, also known as deflation, hollow, or blowout. Okay, so what happens is, it starts with a small depression, just like we've studied about what you call sinkhole. It starts with small puddle of sink, Similarly, in blowout also, it starts with small, blowout, small hole on the surface, and then slowly this deflation starts getting wider and wider until it stretches for a very long. It can be as long as several kilometers together. Okay, and the depth is not very much. The depth can vary from a meter to about 10 meters. Okay, so this is a blowout. Here, in a hard rock surfaces, what is happening? The blowout has happened, and due to some precipitation which has happened there, water is collected. But eventually, if there is a dry spell, this water or pothole will dry up, and only exposed hard rock will be there. Okay, this is a small deflation basin and sandstone formation of a. It is a picture from a Colorado desert in USA. Okay. Now depositional landforms. Now this is a depositional landforms. Layers deposit of wind blown dust, derived either from desert or glacier regions. So layers happens either in glacial regions or deserts where deposit of wind blowout dust particulates are deposited. These are typically yellowish brown composed of mostly silt size grain, mean very fine size of grains. Okay, of quartz, feldspar, and clay. So it has a very fine texture. If you see, if you take these the soil of that region, you will find the texture of this region will be much more finer as compared to areas having sand dunes. Okay, we are going to talk about sand dunes here. We are talking about sand dunes here. Sand dunes have a larger particulates as compared to that of layers. Okay, now pile of sand deposited by the wind. Okay, this sand dune also has certain sides, that is a windward side and the leeward side. Windward side is the where the wind is blowing from. Okay, so this area where you can see the curve of the wind and the deposited sand material, these are windward side areas, and this is the leeward area where it forms like moon like crescent. Okay, so here it is starts with the ridge, high top ridge, and it's a flat surface which goes here. So this is a leeward side of a sand dune. Different types of dunes. Different types of dunes are, Bakan is one type of dune. It's a crescent shaped dune whose long axis is transfers of dominant wind direction. The wings of the arms of the horn, or you can also call the horns of these leeward sides, are usually or commonly seen in sand dunes. The concave and leeward convex or the windward side is, it is basically like this. It makes a concave side. So this area where wind is coming. If you see my hand, this area where wind is coming, it makes a convex type of shape, and all the sands are deposited on this windward side. When it is a leeward side, it makes a concave shape, or you can call it crescent shape, or you can call it a moon shape, or where the two arms are called horns of the dunes. Okay, horns means the horns that you have on the animal's head. All right, so horns of the dunes. Now these concave form an because of the unidirection winds. When the wind is blowing from a singular direction, it happens then. Okay, and where the wind is facing the same direction throughout the time, throughout the blowout. Okay, okay, let's go further here. Now, see, this is the better clear picture of Barkhan. Barkhan is more commonly seen in large stretch of desert areas, specifically in Arabian desert, or you can go to Sahara desert, where you will come across these Barkhans. So this is a windward side where wind is started depositing sand here, and as wind is moving towards this direction, towards the northeastern side, this is making a concave like formation here, if you see. Yeah. So these two arms, this two edges, this one and this one, is called bark, the horns of the Bakhan or the dunes. Okay. Now transverse dune. What is a transverse dune? This image. If you see here, it makes a small ripple-like formation along the other dune formation. So it happens when the wind velocity is less and the deposition is happening in small asymmetrical pattern. Okay. So transverse dune, that is long asymmetrical dunes that are formed from a perpendicular uh, to wind direction. It is basically it arises from wind direction, when the wind direction is starting from here to here, and it is prevailing and it is changing like this. In this way it is moving in a transverse pattern. Then these pattern comes up. The form This is formed when the source of the sand is elongated one and transfers to the wind direction. It is elongated and transfers to the wind direction. So the wind direction has to be moving transfers to this feature. Then only this type of ripple form or transverse dune form. Okay, and a single long face, slip face is there. So it is basically moving. You can see the patterns are parallel to each other or transfers to each other. Now, probalic dunes, these are how it looks like. They are like long running ridges of small dunes here. It is spread over a large area. So you have to be really seeing these dunes from a very out focused picture. Then only you can see these are probalic dunes, where crescent shaped dunes whose long axis is transverse to the dominant wind direction. So what is the dominant wind direction? That is, so it can be miles together. It can be spread from a miles together. All right. Now convex in leeward side and concave in the windward side. So by the shape of the dunes, you can see or you can understand where the wind is blowing. So suppose if you go out in the field, you want to know the directions of the wind. You can just see by in an arid region, in a desert region, you can just look into the land feature and you can find out where the prevailing wind or the dominant wind is blowing throughout the year. So you will find a particular land features like this way. So it shows that the wind is blowing from here northeast to southwest. That's why the dunes concave shape is coming out from this area, and the convex shape is here. So it is never, the wind is never blowing here from here to here, but from here to here. Okay. Now convex in leeward side and concave in the windward side. It has a multiple slip faces. It has a multiple slip faces means it, because it is a very long stretch of running land feature, it has many slip faces along the dunes. Okay, so if you see here, it is a not a perfect concave shape, but dissimilarity, or a waviness is there in this because of the change in the wind direction. Diurnal, it can be because of the diurnal change in the wind direction, that this roughness and coordinated surface has happened. Okay, now longitudinal and shift dunes. What are longitudinal and shift dunes? Uh, Sinuous dunes that can be more than several kilometers long, and the height may go up to 100 meters. So these dunes can go as high up to 100 meters, formed when the direction of the wind is constant. Sorry, this image has gone blown up a little large. Okay. All right. So now it is formed when the direction of the wind is constant and more or less parallel to the wind direction. It is more parallel to the wind direction. So if the wind is moving like this, it will form the formation in that pattern. All right. Now, crescent may be shaped or will be of a rounded shape. the crescent will be of more of a rounded shape. Then there is also another depositional land feature, which is large pyramid like shape, which you can call it star dune, pyramid dunes or star dunes, with three or more sinuous radiating ridges from the central peak of the sand hill or the hill area. It has three or more slip faces, like all these area, each segment is has a slip face. So these have a star like features, it is spreading like this. So that means the winds are coming from all the direction and depositing the uh, material here on this hilt. That's why it is forming a star like pattern, which is having many slip faces. Now, it does not grow along the ground, but does grow vertically above the ground. So, it is not along the ground surface, but it is moving above the ground surface. It looks like a hill area. Now, doom. Doom, doom can be also called as mud of sand, mount of sand, which that is circular or elliptical in shape and has no face. So if you see here, if you compare this image and if you compare this image, they are very different. Okay, how you can see they are very different? See here, they have multifaceted uh, arm which is coming out from the dune, whereas in the dome it is more round in shape or elliptical in shape. Okay, now reversing the dunes. Reversing dunes is like this: when dunes that are intermediate between the star and the transverse dune. So, what is the reversing dune? When it is at intermediate between star dune and the what do you call transverse dune. The ridge is asymmetrical and has two or more faces. Two or more faces will give a reversing dune. So if you see here all the images, pictures of the dunes here, you go here. This one is transverse dune. Going back, reversing, revising again all the types of dunes. Barkhans. This is how barkhans look like. Okay, this is how your transverse dunes look like. Okay? When the wind is blowing transverse, then you have the probablic dunes, that is dune for when the wind direction predominantly in this direction. So when you have to locate a probablic dune, you need to have a aerial photograph image to find where is the dominant wind direction. Okay, and then you have in this dune also you have multiple faces. Multiple facet, why? If you see very carefully in this image, they are not smooth as that of Bakan. If you see here, Bakan has a smooth ending. Okay, but if you see here, this does not have a smooth concave or convex edges. So it has multi-facet dunes along the predominant flow of the winds. Okay, now, longitudinal or shift dunes are uh, basically running when the wind is running parallel to the surface. This is what the pattern looks like. All right. Again, star dune. Star dune has multifacet, just like that of, if you see the previous picture. Uh, this one is happening when the wind direction is depositing all the material from all the surrounding areas. Okay, this is mount again. Mount is a it does not have multi-facet, it does not have many horns or arms, but it is a round in shape. It looks like a mount. Okay, which you can, in Hindi you can call it tila. It looks like a mount that of sand. Now, reversing dunes is an intermediate between the transverse dune and the star dune. So you go back to the picture of transverse dune, where you have small ripples, on the surface, on the sand, and there is a star dune also. So it will have a larger shape, will have a star like structure where small transverse like pattern of the sand deposits will appear. Okay, the ridge is asymmetric and has a two two faces. Now sand ripples on the dunes itself, you will find many ripples of the sand forming here. Okay, here, this, if you see very carefully, this is like ripple, just like the ripple in the water, it looks like that. So this is called sand ripple. Okay, the miniature dunes within the dunes or are called sand ripple. May form across the wind and appear to be traveling in a different direction than that of a larger dune. So larger dune can be because of a stronger prevailing wind in that particular direction, but then there are diurnal change in the wind directions. Okay, there are diurnal change in the air pressure which can result into sand ripples. Okay, so they can be this sand ripple is a temporary based land feature, and it may appear moving in a different direction to that of the main dune. So if you see in this image, this is a convex area. So if you see here, the wind the more predominant wind is moving from this side to this side. But in this image, the convex area region is this way. So it means that at that period or that time, the wind direction is moving from this from west to east, whereas in this image it is showing that it is moving from east to west. So the prevailing wind is from east to west, but the diurnal change of the wind is from west to east. Okay, now at the end, we will again revise the entire thing. What are the various, um, uh, tools that are required for a wind to encarve the features? So wind for performing any geological activities or loosening the material, soil material or rock material from the surface is called aeolian process. Okay, so now we know about aeolian process. Let's revise it very closely. The tools of aeolian processes: abrasion, corrosion, attrition. Okay, and these are eroding tools. Okay, what happens in deflation or in abrasion, and then again attrition. Deflation is when it is moving away. Abrasion is when these materials are colliding with some obstruction on the path, and it is furthermore taking away the material or the rock material from the surface. So for a very good example is what? A very good example is mushroom rock is a very good example of abrasion. Okay, then we have yagans, also a very good example of abrasion. And impact of wind is of these smaller particles when they are suspended in the air, when they collide with each other and they disintegrate furthermore, they are becoming part of accretion. Okay, now ventifacts, yargans, padlocks, desert pavements are some important erosional feature of the aeolian land processes. So whenever I ask you what is aeolian erosional land feature, so you should be able to name them like ventifacts, yargans, padlocks, and desert pavement. I have also shown you the image of how ventifacts looks like, how yargan looks like, how padlocks looks like. Okay, or padlocks, or you can also call it desert pavement. Okay, so you should be able to name the erosional feature of aeolian land process. Then transportation features are saltation, suspension, and traction. You can see this process while you have, if you go and visit any of these arid region, you can see this process happening. uh, like in April and May is the month of sandstorm in Rajasthan. So you will see a lot of sand particle which is suspended in the air. All right, so these particulates are suspension, example of suspension. Saltation is like when the wind is moving, you will see there are some heavy particulates of sand materials are also moving or blown away from that area into the air. Okay, that is saltation. And then attrition is when the particulates is heavy but the wind is so strong that it is dragging along the surface or making it hop along the surface. Okay, so it is also called as traction or rolling. Okay, now depositional features. So if I say what are the depositional features, you should be able to name them, at least few of them you should be naming. That is dunes, layers. Then what are the various types of dunes also we have discussed here, right? So that also you should be able to well explain. Now there are well developed and migrated uh, according to the sand available in the and the wind direction in that region. So if you see, if you go to Rajasthan, Jaisalmer region, there is only a particular area where you will come across big sand dunes. Okay, the rest of the areas you will come across a ventifax, for example, or there will be some yagans forming in those regions, or padlocks, that is totally rocky land for a very long stretch of land forms. So that is the entire aeolian land processes. Aeolian land processes can happen in two type of arid region, either in cold desert or hot desert. Generally it can be seen in the hot desert, these aeolian land processes happen. Okay, in cold deserts also we have certain aeolian land processes, like mushroom rocks are also seen there, and we have sand dunes also in cold desert. An example of cold desert I will give you is Gobi Desert. Gobi Desert is a cold desert which is in Central Asia. Okay, and hot desert we all know, it is spread all along the uh, around the globe, like in America you have Colorado desert or Rocky Mountain deserts. Then you have uh, in what do you call, in South America you go Atacama desert. Then Atacama desert also have a very distinct feature. Then you have in Africa you have Sahara desert. Then in West Asia you have Arabian desert. In India you have two types of desert, which is one is the Thar desert, which is the seventh largest desert in the world, and the other one is Kutch desert, which is a different characteristics. It have the different type of desertification is there. Okay, so coming to conclude the entire session, now I will say that wind plays a very important role in carving and the land features on the dry arid regions. Why wind action does not prevail, or wind erosion is not seen, or depositional action is not much seen in the areas where soil moisture is high, where precipitation is high, because these particulates which is suspended or which is taken away by the wind is heavy because of the moisture, and they tend to stick together. Okay, so hence that's why they in those regions where precipitation and water quality is more, you have a aeolian fluvial land features. Fluvial also we have discussed that entire course of river flow, we have different erosional, depositional and transportational activity going on. So in the same way, like fluvial land processes is for rivers and moving water, and uh, aeolian land features and processes is for wind and moving, blowing winds and features which is coming because of this. All right. So, concluding the entire session, I will say that we have to study both the features, that is, fluvial land feature and the aeolian land feature. Now, I would request all of you to go and attempt your quiz in the LMS given. All right. So far, any questions? I will take up any questions. These are some references, that is Anderson and this geomorphology of the mechanical and chemistry landscape. This edition book is a very good book that explains various chemical composition and lithology and soil composition, which contributes to different types of land features. So if you want to learn about more about land features and geomorphic features, specifically exogenetic morphic features, you can take up these books as a reference. So, and Thomas S. G. David also explained the arid zone geomorphology very nicely, very clearly. So you can anytime go and read them. Right. Apart from that, you can visit these video links, sorry, PDF links, where you will find in detailed land features. There are I have given you few names of the Aeolian land features. There are many more Aeolian land features like natural chimney, then columns. There are many other land features which is carved by the wind action. So you can refer them as well. Okay, so this is all for your lecture today. Thank you and have a nice day.